So, first and foremost, today's guest is Gabriel Castillo, magic mushroom expert, CEO, initiated curandero, author, and course instructor. Gabriel's deep understanding of energy and a passion for helping others becoming their own healers by shedding layers themselves and opening deeper mental channels through his work with mushrooms. He is the founder of Finally Detached, a company that offers mindfulness-based psychedelic sessions and deep healing modalities, and provides therapeutic modalities, guided psilocybin journeys, and educational resources to enable those who are ready to explore themselves more deeply. How you doing today, Gabriel? And that's Reverend Gabriel Castillo. I apologize.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I'll probably be one of the coolest reverends you've ever met. So I'm really lax with all that stuff.
I don't know, man. Run was pretty good. I'm a huge I pulled out the only reverend that would trump that reverend.
Right. Yeah. But run wasn't about mushrooms. I never heard you talk about mushrooms. So let's be real.
There's always a lot of hidden meaning behind things. Maybe we'll go back and listen to it because we know that religion has taken psilocybin and the mushroom and interlaced it throughout all of the parables and tales that we have. So wouldn't surprise me if Walk This Way wasn't about a journey. Right. Yes, that's how you start it. Look at that.
Yep, that's good. That was good. Bro, I'm awake now. Let's do it.
Dude, this is what we do. I don't like sitting around and not having fun with this. This is an opportunity to explore things that are really coming to the forefront now. And having the opportunity to speak to somebody like yourself that is now giving a voice to modalities that can help people in so many different ways with mental health, PTSD, and their inner struggles that they may have with demons that they don't even know that exist, that have the freedom to be expelled through such a simple process, or at least to show you that they exist and what they are. Can you tell us what it's like to help people find themselves?
Yeah, it's I humbly say that it's a blessing. It is it's a gift to be able to share my story, to share my processes, to share what worked for me to get me out of the shit that I was in, right? And to be able to offer that to someone else who is called to receive that. That's that's a blessing.
That's an interesting way that you phrased that. You said that they're called to do that. The call is a very interesting thing because there are no two that look the same, but they're very similar.
Right.
Do you feel that that call is coming more frequently than it was in the past?
That's a great question. Because when I'm talking about the call, there's many levels to the call, right? There's the call just to awaken. Mm-hmm. And then there are those who have done the work and they're being called specifically to a specific medicine, if you will. And there's a reason for that, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm referring to when I say the call. I'm here. I work specifically with the mushroom. The mushroom broke me through. The mushroom showed me who I was. And I was taught how to build a relationship with the mushroom. So much so where it's no longer outside of yourself, but it becomes you. And you are it.
It's fascinating. Full disclosure. I think I tried shrooms like when I was like 17, but I was already stoned with friends and it was like in beef stew. Couldn't tell you. Wouldn't have had. One of the things that I feel is important about mushrooms is that it requires a certain amount of wisdom going in about yourself. Otherwise, you're basically being given a peek behind the curtain with no ability to decipher it or use it to your advantage. You simply do this. Well, fuck it. None of this is real. I give up then. That's what happens to the guy that gets shrooms given to him at a party.
Yeah.
So we need people like you.
Yeah. Yes.
So what's the difference between opening up a baggie of dried up shrooms and pinching a piece and eating it and coming to see you and getting that shamanic experience?
Wow. Yeah, that's a great question. It comes down to calling, right? Because when it comes to opening that bag and eating the pinch, that was me. I was that. I did do that in college. We all did that. I did that in high school too,
Yep.
I experimented, but that's where it was through those. I had to go through that to develop my maturity, if you will, on how I did look at myself and how I did view these substances. But then again, I had a trauma that I went through that helped me gain that maturity, that awareness a little faster, if that makes sense.
Totally get it.
The main difference is that when you can take the medicine and know that you are, first of all, by yourself with someone who's been there and done that many times before, and you're in a space where you're safe and you can trust this other individual, and you are in a place where you are ready to see what you need to see and feel whatever you need to feel and experience whatever the hell you need to experience, so you can stop feeling how you're feeling because you don't want to be there. So you can stop thinking how you're thinking because you don't want to think that way. Right? It's your intention is very powerful.
It's a super, super fast root cause analysis. And it will jump in there and give you a peek behind what you've been not wanting to see the entire time. And it will show you that you were willingly wearing shaded lenses to protect yourself when you never needed to do any of it at all. And those traumas that you're talking about, I like to describe those as lenses. I think lenses make a really good explanation for two things. One, it rectifies time. And two, it shows perspective. I think that when we go through these things, we're issued a lens at each and every one of them. And each one of those, just like Benjamin Franklin had like those little bifocals that they showed you in third grade. One was green, one was blue, and they were flipping them up and down. Everybody has those on their experiences in life. And just like time never changes, there is no time, the lenses remain every time. They will always be there, and your view will be none other like any other person. No two will be the same. And just like I use this analogy a lot, just like if you were sitting at a table with me and we're having the classic glasses conversation, they're like, well, how blind are you? And you take your glasses off and you give them to your friend and they're like, well, this is, well, guess what? That's the same thing as asking them to wear your ego lens. When you put it on, all you're going to see is a bunch of warped shit because you don't have the programming behind it to decipher it.
Right.
And shrooms show you, or all of these modalities, the plant medicine that's here, are so great at giving us that view behind the curtain.
Right. And shrooms specifically, building a relationship with what we teach how to do here at Finally Detached, or at least how it was broken upon me when I was initiated, building the relationship when you're ready. What that does is not just give you the awareness of the glasses that you're speaking of, perspective, but it shows how to be able to navigate those glasses and say, hey, for this situation, I'm choosing this perspective, and then I'm gonna flick this one, and then I'm doing this one, and then I'm gonna do this. So now you start to become so detached that you can choose your perspectives. Your perspectives don't choose you. That makes sense.
No, that makes 100% sense. I think that over time, the understanding that I've come to have about these modalities, I compare them to meditation, in that where mushrooms or cannabis or ayahuasca or DMT is a light speed edition of meditation. And that the understandings will come with this. However, they're going to be in the rear view mirror. You're going to go through that experience and you're going to have to look back and go, look at that unneeded carnage, right? But the meditation, what you're describing to me is the deciphering your current environment and picking your emotions and things like that. Just like with mushrooms, with meditation, you come to find yourself in a different location than everybody else while you're with everybody else. And the location that you're at is there. Right. Nobody else in that circle is with you. And that's what mushrooms and meditation have shown me, is that it gives you that look into everybody's issues. And you get to see that we live in mental illness in the now, 24/7. If you have to ask somebody or yourself, what am I thinking about? You can 100% tell yourself it's not what's going on around you. And that's a waste. I think the earth is talking to us. I think earth doesn't make mistakes. Okay, these clowns are running around like idiots because they have a mental illness. We're going to give them some food that changes this perspective.
And I think that's the earth naturally doing work, is I think we are a part of earth. It's all nature. We are nature. And our moving away from the centering of the earth, from the message of Gaia, is exactly what was needed for us to find the true message of Gaia. And that's what, all these plant medicines and all this, the calling and all of this is really leading to.
There's a reverberation that people have in their heads right now that they won't admit to. There are a certain amount of push against their day-to-day. And these are the people that are left after the pandemic. Pandemic happens, stick in the spoke of the mental tires. We all get to see that we're repeating things. We're groundhogging. Everybody scatters like the wind, either gets divorced or falls deeper in love, and makes amends with whatever they need. And then that other group who clung to the material world and everything going back to the safe way that it was, they're stuck. They're stuck. They know. We all know. I knew, just like yourself, man. I had a traumatic background. Grew up in the middle of Butt Huck, New York, or Okeechobee, Florida, just middle of a field, that kind of crap. We talk about this stuff all the time. But when you have those traumas, you carry them on through life. And everybody has them. And these modicums are the way that we're going to find that relief. I know that there are some new programs that are in place right now that they're beginning, much like you're doing, on-site sessions for facilitating this type of medicine. There are some companies now that are beginning to use the same things, psilocybin, cannabinol, I want to say LSD and some other things, and they're doing a mixture where they're going to provide it to patients, remote therapy sessions in microdoses. I think that's amazing. I want your opinion on how this is growing and where you see it going.
Yeah, it's funny. I like that you mentioned that, because that is something, I won't go into too much business detail.
No, please do. That's what we're here to learn about.
Absolutely. But I'd have to let you and your whole audience sign NDAs to be able to get into.
Oh yeah, no. I don't. No poly, no waiver, no statement. I want a lawyer. That's my. I'm out. You got me right there. I'm good with those. I used to work in the consulting world. I hate them. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
I got
absolutely.
you.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I think it's going to be beautiful. I really just think it's going to be what's behind it. I can just speak from experience. the way I learned to work with the mushroom, it helped me to cut out all middle. Let me just be very clear. It helped me to see that I am my own healer. I am my own teacher. I am my own guide. I know what's best for me. And I listen to myself. And in doing that, I become my most authentic self. I live my happiest life. And I'm the brightest light for all those around me because I am me. And
it's beautiful. And you're not wrong.
The journeyers who I've been working with, the mushrooms and how they approach it, no dogma. We let the medicine do the work. We do not program or do any dogma.
Should always be that way.
Correct. We let the medicine do all the work. And they are leading to the same conclusion. And I'm here not to create the revolving door. I'm here to teach them how to do this so they break free. Right. And that's the main difference that's going to be happening. The protocol, it's all going to be under the same spiraled shit that never worked, that never worked, that never worked, that never worked. Because it's not the medicine, it is the foundation. And that's I'll just leave it at that. With the awareness, those who know that know it, and those who know that are called specifically. And that's why they're called, if that.
I completely understand where you're coming from. And I agree with you to a certain level. And I'll explain. I have a theory that when people become wealthy, there's a certain group of them that give to charity for no reason, but to just give it for philanthropic reasons, that they love, they want to give back. And then there's another group that gives back because they want a tax break. Or they give back because they want to move that around and make themselves look good. Whatever it is, or try to plug a hole deep down inside, which is honestly where I'm going with this, right? My philosophy is that if you're making attempts at trying to better your life, whether it's through that modality or a shaman, at least the attempt is being made. And those attempts are always the ones that predicate the larger breakthrough. Because 99% of people need to hit the ground about 10 or 15 times to realize that that's seed and that you get the chance to grow from there. Mm-hmm. They don't want to fall the whole way. They want to microdose their way to a pillow that tells them everything's going to be okay. When in reality, that's not required. They were already okay. But I love the fact that we as a society are getting an opportunity to even explore it. The changes in classifications, the ability to get, even if it's a microdose, even if it's administered by, whoever.
I see.
There's that moment of clarity that comes with it. It's not the hand that fed it to you. It's how you looked at the food and consumed it.
I understand. And I understand. Because I see it. I was taught as a curandero. I come from Taino roots. Let's say my people were here and Columbus came, right? And brought the idea of the church, the middleman. And my people practice shamanism.
You're frozen there.
What about now? Good now?
Oh, it looks like you're back. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Not sure what happened there.
Cool. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm so grateful that you shared that. because I see exactly where you're coming from, because it's very beneficial. Just the fact that it's accessible is going to change everything, right? I come from the mindset that this has been accessible since the day we were born, and that the same hand that's feeding us is the same one that told us it wasn't accessible. Mm-hmm. So we've already known that the plants heal. Why do we keep needing validation? That's where I'm at, because this is just it's the work that's being done is going to be much bigger.
I want to try something here. Someone explained to me, I have a neuropsychologist that I see, and I love her dearly. And she's aware of plant medicine. She's very open-minded. Just an amazing human. She sees who you are when you don't know who you are. And she explained to me something about medications, mental health, and what they can be used for, right? Because let's face it, not everybody's going to sit down with a shaman, right? They're not going to have the background to even allow them to make that judgment call. They're going to have too many things holding them back, mostly judgment. But when someone goes to see a doctor or someone of that nature and they start administering those medications, yes, they're not great. Long-term fuck-ups, they're not healthy, they're man-made, they're all these things. But if you can get that moment of clarity during the time on that medication, that's what it's there for. It's not there to take until you're 80. It's not there to stop what's hiding in the shadows, like Mr. Bipolar or something. It's not keeping things at bay. It's giving you a window of opportunity to address it and find out what that root cause is. So much like in this situation, I'd like to think, and I hope in my heart of hearts, that in these scenarios, when these people do get that access to the little amounts that it is, that it gives them an opportunity to address just enough. Because honestly, I wouldn't be sitting here today if I hadn't had those junctures and small windows of opportunity and exposures to medications in increments, because I wouldn't have accepted them any other way. So I want to hope that that is an opportunity for people to get those small windows, or at least the exposure or less fear. I mean, let's face it, nobody likes jumping in a cold pool. They like to, for some reason, we like to do it slowly, which doesn't make any sense to me either.
Right. That's, everyone should be able to go on their own pace, right? And it's not that one path is better than the other. I think they're both efficient for both. I think they're both necessary. The plant medicines give you the awareness. So when you do take the medications, you can know, is it good for me or is it not?
You're going to know whether or not you should have been taking it. You're actually going to know the situation. Right. You're going to look at the guy across from you and you're going to go, this guy doesn't know what he's giving me. It's going to be that. And that's okay. At least it's in an environment where you're not like looking at some black lights and got a buddy that's pouring beer down your neck with a funnel, Right. Because that's usually how we end up getting our shirts the first time.
Right. Yeah. It's really interesting. It's really interesting.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't bring you on here to tell you that that's not the method for the experience with mushrooms under any circumstance. I just want everybody to know that just try. As long as you're trying, you're winning.
Right.
Because action is everything.
Correct.
That's it.
Action is everything, but action stems from how you think. And if you can't control how you think, then you're not going to control your actions. So I would say go to the drawing board and learn mindfulness, learn how to reprogram your mind, learn mindfulness, because you may find that when you do that, you catch these little glimpses of clarity. When you meet it
100%.
halfway, when you do the work, you catch these glimpses, and maybe you don't need a medication to let you catch the glimpse of.
Correct.
So if you do the work, which is where I'm stemming from, if you do the work and it's done right, not like, oh, you do these medications and then do this and then it's going to help you and then here's the next medication. No, if you teach the person how to reprogram their mind,
Yep.
you teach the person what their mind is and how powerful they are, and then you teach them how to have a relationship with this substance that has been on this earth for millennia, for us to indulge, for our minds to expand with, for our brains to literally grow with.
Well, we have
And
the
then you set them
receptors
free.
for these things. We actually share
Nice.
DNA with mushrooms.
Isn't that
We're
crazy?
like very, very close to, from what I understand. It's like not far
Literally.
off in the old tree of life. It's us
No.
hanging out with mushrooms and hanging out with monkeys. It's like really
Literally.
weird. It doesn't look like one of these kids is not like the other, is hanging out with us there. And it's known to have like some kind of bizarre intelligence that we can't comprehend, that it is a living being, that it is comprehending in its own manner.
It is.
But we're starting to figure out that that's a lot of plant life. That's everything that exists around us. It's just they have a different set of lenses.
They have a different set of lenses, but they're all connected through the same communication network, which is the mycelium that's underneath everything. So
What
once
is
you really understand, mycelium is the mushroom. Mycelium is the neural network, the pathway that is underneath our feet. Literally, it populated our planet millennia ago. The spore is what brought the mycelium, which is what brought the mushroom. And where do spores come from? Spores come from space. Oh, the question is, who sent the spores, or were they just traveling and just out there? Ooh, then you can start getting into the
rabbit holes that I could live down all day long.
Holes. They're all rabbit holes. And what's funny about them is that I always say, yeah, man, don't approach everything like a skeptic, but ask the questions to the mushroom. Go deep and ask the questions yourself, and you'll be surprised what answers come right from inside of you. You have all the answers. You're your own teacher. You're your own guide. It may blow your mind.
I'm going to ask a bizarre question.
Please.
And this is something that's come out in society more recent. I don't know the exact terminology for it, or the background of how it was figured out, except for we're now finding out that people process information and live in reality differently. Much easier than before because of the prevalence of communication. So now that we're able to talk to each other, we're asking questions. Did you know that there are people that cannot create a mental image in their head? Never have, never will. It's called aphantasia. It's an absence of a mental image. And I wonder, because I have that, I dream, but no other time I didn't understand throughout my life when somebody said, imagine yourself on a beach and there's a palm tree there. I'm like, that's cool. What are we thinking about? I didn't know that people were closing their eyes and seeing a palm tree and a beach. When everybody talks about psychedelics and mushrooms and all of these things, they always talk about the visual. They talk about seeing things, and that's what they seem to be looking for. Maybe ignorantly, we're going to trip, so to speak. What about those people that can't see? And what do you feel internally that's not visual?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, when you can't see, you're still going to be able to see because you're going to be able to feel. And your deep, intense feelings are going to create a knowing. And that knowing is automatically going to allow you to see in your own way.
That makes sense. Just like anything else, we're standing beside each other, taking in the experience, but we don't know what's on the inside of either one. It makes sense.
But yet we do, because it's just us.
Well, I mean, one can argue that everything's a mirror. And the feeling that you have about the person in front of you is something, a belief inside yourself that there is a difference, but it's actually the exact same thing. And when you hate somebody or dislike or whatever it is, you better ask what you're hating them for, because it's in you. If you agree with them for whatever reason, you're just repressing it.
Right.
That's all you're doing. And mushrooms, plant medicine, they get to see or give you a look into the fact that you are having an imaginary sword fight with the future and the past standing in one room all alone. But when somebody turns on the lights, there's nobody there fighting with you. It's been you the whole time, just swinging a stick around. That's it.
Yeah.
Because there's no future and there's no past. It's insanity.
Like
But that's a cruel joke. It is a cruel joke. I don't know who made us. I don't know where we came from. I'm not too pleased with being born on the roller coaster. Not like getting a ticket, and hanging out with the guy and going, man, this looks scary. I'm not sure. Maybe I want to change my mind. No, I woke up at 50 miles an hour behind a mom and dad screaming, go left and right. That's all we get.
Right.
And you got to figure it out from behind them.
Yep.
So that helps me rectify that it's not your fault. Shame, guilt, that's a beautiful thing to have relieved through plant medicine and meditation. Those are one of the biggest restrictions that we have in life, and they're rooted in fear, just like everything else. And it's given to you as a totem to keep you equal to the person that you left behind. Nothing more, nothing less. Shame and guilt is an equalizer. And I think meditation and mushrooms give you that view behind that curtain. So what is the future of, why did I do this? Finally detached.
Yeah, great question. Future finally detached is the future of finally detached is, what is it not? It's everywhere. Future of finally detached is everywhere. It's going to be a staple when it comes to when people think about the mushroom, and when people think about the idea of building a relationship with.
When you say relationship, because you've used it a few times, what does this love affair look like?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's the love affair starts by taking it out on a date. And that's why we recommend journeying with us the correct way, or journeying with someone the correct way. Because when you go on a date, it can move slow and you can just get to know each other little by little, or you can go on a date with someone who's just very authentic and just tells you who they are and doesn't want to waste your time. And it's just like, look, dude, we can do it like this, but this is what I'm looking for and this is what it is. And that's kind of how we like to approach it when forming relationships. We don't want to waste your time as much as we have other people to help that need help, right? So what the thing is you come, you meet the mushroom, you have that nice date. It takes you deep, right? You meet it, you show yourself to it. You have no choice. You find out it knows all of you and you know all of it. At least a glimpse what it was willing to give you, but it showed you enough to compel you. From there, you have the choice. It will give you the choice. Hey, allow me to show you the way, or you let your ego dictate and figure it out as I give you little bits and pieces.
Yeah,
Your
I'm
choice.
the kid that doesn't eat his vegetables the first time. I'm the one that gets them the next morning and for lunch until the parent gives up because it might become a health hazard to
Right.
teach the lesson. That
Right.
was me. If understanding was green beans, I fucking kept pushing them across the fucking table and I only ate one and then cried every time. That's how I got into this shit.
Right.
It is not a beautiful experience for everyone. No, but
Yeah.
if you follow people like yourself, I can't imagine that it wouldn't be so much better. Everybody's heard the nightmares.
That's the
Because
saying.
the nightmares aren't the mushroom.
No.
The nightmares are you in real life.
Right. So that's what I say. You want to work with someone like myself because if you do have a bad trip, it's a reality. And if you have a very bad trip and you're with someone skilled, they can turn your terrible trip into the most amazing trip you've ever had in your life.
A mega dose, a life-changing experience.
Correct. And that's where you really have the choice to be like, wow, there's wisdom in this, or, I got what I want. I'm happy. Just keep moving along. But if you find that there's, more to it, that's where we offer microdosing, right? Because now you know what it is. You've experienced it. You've gotten out of your way. You felt what that felt like.
The trees and the grass have actually become greener.
Correct. And now when you're taking the microdose, you see the wisdom in it. So now it's more of a co-creation. It's a relationship. It's not a daily vitamin or a pill or something that you mix in with every other dogmatic thing that you've digested like that. It's different.
Like a consumer.
Right. 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 And from there, what you start to notice is that your path, your journey has started. You become aware, and now you have the awareness to see or at least to read what's best for you. Let me put it this way. Building the relationship puts you more in tune with your intuition. So you're going to find that the mushroom speaks. You may find that there's a voice there, that it is literally answering your questions when you have them. And it's telling you exactly where you need to do, or what's wrong, or what story, or what trauma, or whatever. It's giving you the answers. When you notice that relationship of microdosing, that can be nurtured. So much so that it becomes you, that you start to trust your intuition so much. So you start to hear the difference between that was my ego or that was my higher self. That's not from me. That's from something outside of this. That's not from me. So I'm following it. Or that's my ego. I'm not listening to it. You start to decipher.
I'm smiling because you're literally describing a meditation practice and the reveal that you get over time. The fractures you begin to see, the space between you and an emotion. People don't realize how big that gap actually is. Time is a confusing son of a bitch because in reality, there's a big ass gap between that coffee cup pissing me off for leaving a ring on the table and me actually being pissed off when I saw it. A huge gap. And the more you meditate, you start to realize, well, I can just put the coffee cup away and skip the emotion. Even better, as you begin to meditate longer, you start to see why the coffee cup pissed you off. And then even better, you get to let go being pissed off about coffee cups being on shit because you now realize that your mom didn't want you leaving shit somewhere and you got your ass whipped for whatever reason, or you guys were impoverished. So the only way that you could show that you weren't destitute was to have a clean home. And you've got some kind of shit in the background of your head that's been triggering this weird ass emotion where you might be yelling and screaming at your kid over a goddamn coffee cup and a piece of wood with 4 legs.
Right. Boom. Yeah. Clear. Clear as day, man. Yeah. You hit it on the head.
It's something that you can't pass up on. We can only agree on one thing, if anything, and that is that it's now. Aptly called the present. It's a gift. And for that reason alone, to not take the opportunities to help yourself become a better person, you're slapping or taking a slap or slapping whoever in the face that made you or wherever you came from. You're spitting on the beauty that is you and the opportunity to ride the rock. Because I don't know if anybody's looked. I got a theory about heaven, right? Heaven, yes, can be a state of mind, a consciousness. But if you guys need a location, because a lot of people need to go somewhere for some reason, they don't like it here. Well, why don't you just take a moment, go out to nature and look in a circle and ask yourself where the fuck you are. You're in heaven. We're already here. We've been here the whole time. We're just walking around with glasses on, not realizing it. Playing some bizarre ass game of make-believe. Weird as shit, dude. If you step back and look, we're fucking weird. There's no other animal playing this game. They're just scattering away from us. But we're the ones that are normal and we get to inspect them. Like, no, they're like, please don't grab me, you fucking psychotic creature. The only one that figured out how we work is dogs. Dogs are like, yo, check out the people with the illness that drop food when you let them pet you. We'll just stay there.
Yep.
You mean all I have to do is walk around with this dude? I'm in. He's going to give me his shelter? A double in. Like, it's a win-win-win. But here's the funny thing. To animals, because of a lesser mind or capability to, comprehend things the way we do, all we're giving them is love. You want to break a pack of animals, give one of them love. Otherwise, they all move in sync. We see it out there. You want to pull an animal out of nature, you either grab it like Elmira from Tiny Toons back in the fucking 90s and squeeze the shit out of it, or you do what? You offer it love. Love is what? It's food to them, because that's the most priceless possession out there. But we don't recognize that.
Right.
We think we own them. They're looking at us. It's the other way around. When are these guys going to realize they're here? Sorry, I ran a little bit, but I'm tired of seeing people fooled.
Yeah. And that's why the animals are great teachers, right? Because you see them and they're not thinking about the past or the future. They're here right now. And that's why people love them, because they're grounding to that. They're grounding to this now moment. Right? It's there's so much from them. I feel like they're a lot smarter than we are, and we don't give them that credit. Is they are us, man. They are us, and everything's conscious.
You want a huge indicator for this? I had a older gentleman in the barber shop one time. He's, they love to tell the worst jokes on the planet. Everybody's sitting there and it's always some ridiculous punchline. And this old man, you say, okay, so which one? Or he said, what do you think would happen if you locked your wife and your dog in the trunk of the car and come back an hour later? Which one would be happy to see? And while it was a joke, because we all know, you open the trunk of the car, the dog is happy as fuck. He's looking you straight in the eyes and he's saying, fuck yeah, no more trunk.
Tail's wagging.
Tail is wagging. What up, my dude? Let's ditch the trunk. Where are we going?
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. You could chop off a dog's leg. And they're going to go off with 3 and never think different. And neither are any of their pals. There's not like a Scooby-Doo wolf, off to the side, snickering at the dog with 3 legs. It just doesn't happen that way.
Right.
But the wife, when you open that trunk, her reality will never be the same. She will hate the person that did it. She will hate that it happened. She will live in fear for the rest of her life. She will change patterns of living. She could take on addictions. She could become a traumatic survivor of that 10 minutes in the trunk. But we all know the reality is no different than the animal.
Mhm.
It's a mental illness. It's something that we grab onto. Honestly, I think it's because it makes life easier. I think if we can be a victim, then we don't have to try. Shit, it's always easier to sit down.
Right.
So much easier. So that's my thought about that, is that
Absolutely.
we have a separate view on reality, but it's predicated on nothing. Like, not a single thing.
Right.
I love that we're at a time where we can have a conversation about helping people find peace. 20 years ago, this conversation is about alcohol and other drugs and other debauchery on the radio. What up,
Right.
guys? We're going to paint some boobies like shamrocks for St. Patrick's Day. Whoa. That's all the conversations we're having, because why? We don't want to fucking talk. We don't want to talk what we're talking about right now.
We don't want to be authentic.
Love authentic. Love authentic because it's a child. Like, if you don't love kids, you're a dick. And you're a child. Your authenticity is nothing more than that, because that was the last time you were real. The last time you were real was when you were a kid. And the last thing you wanted to be before that is who you were supposed to be. And I'm pretty sure it was probably being nice to somebody else. We're only told not to when it becomes something that can hinder us in another way or give us a leg up. Kids don't fucking come up with that on their own. Everything that we're going through, we don't come up with on our own. Combined effort. We like to fuck it all up at a group.
It's a group made tapestry.
So we're at this moment. We see everybody getting the opportunity. What do you think society looks like after, we could say, a mass awakening or a global shift through even these microdosings? What does the world look like in that situation? Because this is something that you contemplate a lot.
Yeah, I would like to. There's going to be a big awakening. And I think the world is going to look like exactly how it is right now. I think it's just people are going to feel differently inside. They're going to be more aware of that mirror, right? They're going to turn the finger towards themselves instead of trying to fix everything out. They'll just be, how can I fix myself? How can I be a better person myself? Because I'm no good if I'm not here and available. And if it's as simple as that, then I nothing has to change. There doesn't have to be flying cars and all this stuff. If there is a
flying car is a desire, it's not authenticity. Right. You won't care about a flying car. It will literally sound as nonsensical as it really sounds. You're like, why the fuck do I care about a flying car?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm getting at, right? It's going to be how it is now. I feel
with empathy.
With empathy. And I think that's where we're going to get a leg on a true understanding of all these concepts that we're running, right? These, dealing with the globe and all of this situation, right? I think we'll have a better handle once we have a better handle on ourselves. because it's not going to be on, oh, what do we need to fix out here? Or who do we need to block from doing what? It's going to be just,
Yep. Your lenses are painted from the inside out, Chief. You got to clean them from the inside out. Those goggles aren't spray painted from the outside. Like literally, you got to wipe them out and then look outside. Oh, fuck. That's what's been out there the whole time, not the painting or the stained glass that I created to give me this jaded view of what was already beautiful.
Right. And then you start seeing like, man, I've been spreading this jaded view. I've been spreading that virus through my actions just because of how I was thinking. And none of it was real.
That's always the one that when I started to make that connection through meditation, it was pretty funny. Like I remember a distinct moment when I saw my wife probably like 30 minutes after I had this understanding. And I had a smile on my face that looked like, I was a psychopath. And she's just looking at me. I'm like, you have no idea. I'm like, seriously, you have no idea. Wait till I tell you this. Of course, she's looking at me like I'm a fucking idiot. No, you have no idea. It's so fake. Like, we're just playing a game. She's like, you're fucking nuts. I'm like, look, I don't know how to explain it yet. This is the only words I can stick on it. But I swear to God, I think this is make-believe. She's like, you're nuts. Obviously, the understanding is that the ego is a mask and that we're playing characters and we don't realize it and that we collect them over time. Masks are on the logo and they're there for a reason. It's because we wear different ones. We even give them voices, inflections, things like that. But what we forget is those are fractures. They are things that we have to remember. The moments when we're inauthentic in life, we trigger a different reaction in our mind. And that is fear that we won't remember who we were for that next interaction where we weren't authentic. Well, guess what? If you have 1,000 of those a day, times, 50 years, what does that spider web look like? And who the fuck can memorize the points all the way back through? At what point do you become insane? Kind of what it is. At least from my viewpoint. I have weird descriptions for things. Feel free to write in and say your analogies make fucking no sense, Jay. I'm always cool with that. And no, I don't know shit about shit. I'm on this rock with the rest of you. I just found a way that makes me feel really good. And I think other people could benefit from it. And I'm finding that more people like yourself are out there. And this isn't just through plant medicine and meditation. This is also through self-contemplation. It's through understanding. It's through love and things like that. That's how we bridge gaps. That's how we bridge divides. We reach out our hands blindly. We ask people to cross over. And when we understand something, don't you dare fucking spiritually gatekeep fucking happiness. There is no path to get there except for your own path. If you're peddling that shit, you're in the wrong and you're being a predator. There's a big fucking difference. Again, I like to soapbox. You're the chillest dude on the planet. You know that, right?
No, I don't, man. I appreciate you saying that.
You have such a relaxed and grounded demeanor. And I'm not afraid to say something like this. Most dudes that look like a Latin lover that could steal your wife in 30 seconds wouldn't act the way you do. You're a much cooler person than that. You're a very handsome man. You're very calm. You're like, it's very entrancing. I love it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you for.
How do you find that? Mushrooms.
You want me to be honest with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the relationship with the mushrooms. Once I found out who I was I literally said, fuck it. I'm going to be me. And in being me, I don't care what any thinks.
Isn't that beautiful? The freedom that comes with that? The smile on your face says it all. right? When you can recall that love affair and it always makes you smile, you know it's real. You know it's real. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say something that the reason that you have that look about you is not aesthetics. It's the love that you have for yourself is something I can see. When we love ourselves deeply, we become more attractive humans to the people that want to be with us. We become unattractive to jealousy. We become unattractive to self-loathing. We become unattractive to all those things. But when we're being a lighthouse in place and loving ourselves and giving away our light for free, we're going to attract love. People are going to admire it. Everybody loves to look at a lighthouse. Stupidest thing out there. The fuck is it? It's 2023. Why do we still care about the lighthouse? Right? There's a GPS. But I'll be damned, no matter what coast you go to, people are posing next to the lighthouse. We want to be a lighthouse. And I think that you are. I say it damn near every time I end the show, that I believe that people like you are what we need in society. I appreciate you for taking the risk. And when I say taking the risk, I mean stepping out of the societal norm with the judgment that people will use to protect themselves and communicate a message to people that they need to hear despite the scrutiny that you're going to receive. Because we all know that it's there. And it takes a hero to face that and still speak with passion and not change the message to fit the ears. Because more and more people do that because they, I guess, don't want to be judged. I don't know. But I appreciate you for taking that risk and being there for people like myself and everyone else out there that are riding the rock.
I thank you very much, man. I mean, that touched my heart. So I'm really grateful. You know, your awareness, what you're doing, just this outlet. We're all doing this work together, and I'm really grateful.
Appreciate that, and likewise. You're welcome back anytime. Definitely, now that we know where your location is, definitely going to link up. Would love to maybe do a session. I'll talk about it on the show. I don't care. I think that the only way that we bridge these divides and move forward is for people to step up and make it not scary, not taboo, not what they want us to believe it is. It's kind of funny that the only drugs that have been withheld are the ones that can do the most help. It doesn't make any sense, or it does. That's a whole other episode. I think Joe Rogan covers that one more than I do.
Right. You can catch me there doing that one.
That's the other studios. I'm not climbing that bridge. That's the after show.
Right. Exactly.
So let's talk about who said we can't have mushrooms.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you, and what they can expect? And I will make sure that it's in the show notes. We'll pass on, clips of the episode, and we'll make sure that we distribute that to everyone that we can.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much. You guys can find me on www.finallydetached.com. That's our website. If you're interested in approaching healing work, mushrooms, doing one-on-one ceremonies, modalities, or even learning how to cultivate on your own, just send a message in the fill-in form and we'll set up a call. Just get to know each other and see what your path is, and we'll let you know the best way we can really assist. And yeah, that's about it. You guys can find me on Facebook at Finally Detached, and we have our YouTube at Finally Detached.
I love it, dude. Just do it for one conversation with him. You're going to feel like you got to put your head on the cool side of the pillow. Like, fucking, it's so great. I just feel so much better after this conversation. So come for the conversation, stay for the mushrooms. I'm telling you, it'll, you've got a great, it's a great way to bring them in, man. You're a great human. I appreciate you, man. My father-in-law's name is Gabriel, by the way. We call him Gabe.
Wow.
It means a lot. He's from Colombia. So no coincidence there, I'm sure.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, remember, everybody, be cool and keep learning.